Draft 1 on day 2 of the Arena Open for Cube. We're hopping on in. Things I'm looking for. I like to start in white or red to see if I can have an aggressive deck. I think those tend to be the best decks in the format. What often happens though is if I start with like a cheap white card or a cheap red card, if I don't see follow-ups to that, or it's clear that that's not open, then I'll pivot into whatever is open. I think truly forcing in this cube often is pretty bad because what can happen is you'll often only see about 1 to 2 cards in those colors per pack. So if you're really trying to be like, I'm mono red, but 1 or 2 other people at the table are also like really just trying to be mono red, you're all gonna either have train wrecks or you're gonna have to all kind of jump into 2 color versions of that deck, which isn't a disaster. Like if it's right to be 2 colors, but you're mostly one, it's fine. But that principle of like I'm gonna force it tends to not be great. I think a lot of people have like understand on day 2 here that this cube is really assertive. They obviously qualified to get here, and those have been the successful decks. So it's just something that I'm going to be aware of going into this and be looking to draft. I'm not going to specifically try to avoid those strategies because I do think they're the best. And they might be correct for my seat. So I want to put myself in a position where I get the best deck. But I am mostly looking to avoid green. I think unless you're one of the only couple green drafters at the table, it can be hard to get all the right pieces for those decks. You need the ramp, you need the payoffs, everything else. Well, we didn't really open up a red or white card that is a top tier card in my opinion. Thraben Inspector and Pillar Flame just aren't at the level of a lot of the other really premium cards. And I do think a lot of people are going to be trying to be aggressive. I think one of the best finishers in the cube is the Scarab God, even though it is 2 colors. I think I'm going to end up taking that here, which is really kind of opposite where I want to start. However, it might work out. If everyone is trying to be really aggressive, taking the Scarab God first might actually be a really good strategy. So we'll find out. But I'm going to take this here. Now, if I see some good red or white cards in the next pack, I'm still just going to take those. I also like the good black cards in the cube too, so I could see that as well. Yeah, if we look at this pack, there's not really good red or white cards that are aggressive here either. So I think that would be a bit of a weak strategy here to try to take like Lunarch Veteran or Phoenix Chick. What I am going to do, I'm going to take Elspeth's Nightmare. I think this card is pretty solid. Again, people are trying to be aggressive. This lets you get on board early, disrupt their plans. Exile is actually pretty decent in this format. It's kind of a nombo with the Scarab God for exiling their graveyard, but there are some graveyard synergies, disturb cards, flashback, etc. So go ahead and go with that. You could also argue for Altar of Ball. I don't like taking Altar of Ball super early though, because it's kind of a build around, whereas Elspeth's Nightmare is always going to be good. I like starting my draft with just generically good cards, and then Baral's Expertise is not really the blue card I'm looking for. The card that, if you get it later and you're being aggressive, or yeah, if you're being aggressive enough, it can be decent. All right, next up, yeah, I mean, the person above me, or 2 seats above me, are definitely the ones in mono red. So this is really an option between Yawgmoth and Tenacious Underdog. Yawgmoth basically enables all of the sacrifice synergies, which is a big part of black decks in the format. However, Tenacious Underdog is a really, really good 2-drop, and there aren't that many of those, so this is a really tough pick. I really want both of these cards. I think Yawgmoth is obviously the more powerful card, but there's a lot of good 4s, like I can get Gonti, I can get other stuff. Also, if I don't end up in the sacrifice version, like if I'm more of a mid-rangey deck, I'd much rather have the Tenacious Underdog. And I do want like go wide strategies with this. I'm leaning actually, I'm gonna take Tenacious Underdog. I think it's overall a weaker card, but I think it goes with my cards a little bit better, and I think cheap plays, you just have to prioritize them. Ooh, Alrund's Epiphany, that card is really good. Professor Onyx is pretty solid. Just getting rid of their best creature when it comes down and then setting up a way to win. Yeah, I'm gonna take Alrund's Epiphany. Every time my opponents have, I haven't not had the pleasure of having this card yet, but every time my opponents cast it, it's been really, really good. I haven't been blue very often in this cube, something that I mostly try to avoid. But if I'm getting past this here, we can be like just a blue-black good cards deck. It doesn't like, as long as they're focused together to still ending the game, I think it can be fine. And this this card is just one of the better blue cards in the cube, so I'm pretty happy to take that here. There's some value to taking Saw It Coming because I can play it on 2 mana, and then I also have Alrund's Epiphany. So I kind of want to take that here. We can be more of this like blue-black controlling deck, and then turn the corner in one big turn. Because it's best of 3, having Saw It Coming and Alrund's Epiphany in the same deck actually adds quite a bit of value. Whereas if it was best of 1, that matters a little bit less. But I think Saw It Coming and Disallow are pretty similar, so I'd rather have the more flexible card here. Okay, blue-black is the place to be. Unfortunately, the blue-black land is in the pack with all these really good cards. So maybe it's still the right pick here. I'm not going to take, well, I don't know, All-Round is pretty good with Haka. But it might actually, this might actually come back to me. It seems like no one's really interested in blue. Massacre Worm is great, good against the aggro decks, but I think maybe fewer people are going to be able to draft the aggro decks today because people are just forced off it. So the question is, maybe I just take the dual land for my mana, honestly, and then try to wheel one of the blue-black cards. There's only 9 cards left, so I'll see 2 on the wheel. But my mana is really bad right now, and I have a lot of pretty good cards already, so I'm happy to take a concession to mana at that point. Okay, we can take Blink of an Eye or Ashnod. Ashnod is a good defensive speed card. Blink of an Eye is a more flexible card. I think Ashnod is a better sideboard card versus the aggro decks. It also is good against green if they just, you know, play a big creature, then this just stops it. If I do go more aggressive too, Ashnod can be a good piece. I think Blink, again, it's fine. It's good with counter spells, but if this was best of 1, I think I would take Blink of an Eye. Because this is best of 3, I'm going to take a sideboard card. Like, I mean, it could be in the main deck, but it's probably going to end up in the sideboard. Again, I like prioritizing cheap cards. So rather than taking Urza's Command here, I can take Life of Toshiro Umezawa or Malevolent Hermit. I think I like the Life of Toshiro Umezawa a little bit more. It's a decent card to just play on turn 2 and gain some life. And then turning into the 2/3, but also there's a decent number of X1s in the cube that it can snipe. So again, it's that cheap interaction that we can get right away. Charter Course versus Impulse. Oh, the 3-man Inspector did wheel. Okay. If we had some like Reanimator shenanigans, this card can be decent. But we also want to be attacking. We're playing Charter Course. I think Impulse is a little better because we do have some instants, and I'll probably get some more. I think Castle Vantress over these. It's rare that you actually activate this, but when you do, it is quite good. Sure, I'll take this as a finisher in case we need it. And now we'll take a Caves of Koilos in case we want to splash later. Go on Isolated Chapel or Bright Climb Pathway. I think Chapel is a better card. Alright, cool. We got the Haka on the wheel. So, like, we can't actually be, like, semi-aggressive where... I mean, Haka's not exactly, quote-unquote, aggressive, but it is a card that you can play it in turn 2 and it stabilizes, and then you can combo with it later. Probably we're just taking Noxious Gearhulk. Our other options, Hangerback Walker. Decent card. But I could also wield the Triome. If I take Gearhulk, I could also maybe play Tameshi. Because I have a decent number... I'll have a decent number of enchantments and artifacts at that point. Is Gearhulk really better than Hangerback Walker? It's pretty good with Scholar of Lost Trove. If it dies and then this can just cast it again. Yeah, I think that's reason enough. Like, that's a good 1-2 punch. Liliana's okay, but it's better in a lower curve deck. I actually don't want to discard a bunch of cards because I actually have a lot of expensive cards. I think I prefer Kaito Shizuki or Blood Chief's Thirst. I feel like the Kaito could wheel though, and I don't have a ton of removal right now, so I think I'm going to take the Blood Chief's Thirst, even though this is a better card. And then hopefully wheel it there. I really am kind of missing some of those early plays. So taking this I think is reasonable. Also, if Micromancer is open, then this is a good card to go get it later on. So when in doubt, I'm going to take the cheaper card. Ooh, Shieldred. Okay, well that's a card that's worth playing over a cheaper card. And taking some of the cheaper cards early lets me take like a Shieldred here. Like if I had taken the Yawgmoth last pack, it makes this pick a lot harder when I'd have fewer 2-drops. But because I already have the Tenacious Underdog there, taking Shieldred is much easier here, and I'm happy to do so. So Shark Typhoon, reasonable card to take. Concealing Curtains, I think, is also quite good. How many instants do I have? I have some number of instants, but not that many. Maybe I just take the 0-4. I think it can just mess with people, and again, it's that defensive speed. I'm pretty happy to play Concealing Curtains. I think Shark Typhoon is good too. But I kind of have my high end covered, and I'm not a true, like, I'm not operating at instant speed truly, so Shark Typhoon loses a little bit of value because of that. Right, Cruelty of Gix or Pilgrim's Eye. Pilgrim's Eye, pretty weak card, but it does let us hit land drops, which has value. I think Cruelty of Gix is good enough. And also, it's a good sideboard card for control matchups if we end up not playing it. Alright, Drowned Catacomb. Our mana's still not great. We only have one blue-black dual land. Gotta take that here. Hard Evidence is a card that I think is pretty good. Unlicensed Hearst, I think, versus Ebondeath. Ebondeath's really good at pressuring Planeswalkers. Unlicensed Hearst is good against certain strategies. This is kind of a close pick. I think the Ebondeath is a better sideboard card. Also, I could play it main deck. Dismiss, just a good pickup. I think we'll probably play that. Okay, so the Tameshi wheeled, the Hangerback Walker did not. I don't hate playing Tameshi. Also, we have a couple splash lands, so if I end up playing this, it returns the Noxious Gearhulk, it returns the Cruelty of Gix, returns the Elspeth's Nightmare, returns the Life of Toshiro. That's already, like, pretty good. And it's a 2-3 that blocks. Let's go with, go on Rebuilding for the sideboard or Valor's Stance on the splash. I don't have a ton of removal, so Valor's Stance might be a little better. I already have 3 5-drops. I think that's going to be a better sideboard card in my deck. Shambling Ghast. Wow, Wedding Announcement that late? Again, a good card that can pressure. I don't think we can play Wedding Announcement. Dark Our Waste. I think I like that more than one with the Multiverse. Again, I have quite a bit of top end already. Alright, going into pack 3 here. We want some more interaction and just making sure we can set up our plays. Brazen Borrower is a card that's pretty nice. Crystalline Giant is just a solid card too. I think I really like Brazen Borrower there. If I take this, I might wheel like the Opt, maybe the Aether Channeler or something like that. I like just having a cheap way to interact with what our opponent's doing. Bouncing their card to their hand and then getting a 3-1 down is just good. And I have a decent number of instants at this point, so we can kind of operate at instant speed, then start playing our Haymakers later. So we kind of like, it's kind of like a turn the corner plan. I guess Thoughtseize and then see if we wheel something. Like maybe the Gix's Command. Decent card. A little bit worse in cube than in draft. But yeah, Thoughtseize is good. Not like absurd. Again, if Micromancer gets opened, then we'll have Thoughtseize plus Blood Chief there, so that would be very good. I like our decks so far. I think we do want a couple more twos, but other than that, things are going pretty well. Yeah, we're not in a Braids deck, so I'll take the Ledger Shredder. Note that, I mean, even if we don't have that many ways to enable it, our opponents, they can't double spell, which kind of messes with them. And I do have some cheap things. Like, it's not impossible for me to double spell here. I have a decent number of 1-drops. I don't think we're going to play the Ashnod. But if we end up doing that, Ledger Shredder does get quite a bit better. And we have 6 lands showing, so we're at 21 playables. Wow, this pack just has it all. It's hard to go wrong with the Rafine's Tower when we're literally Esper. I do like Urtai quite a bit. But I think if we're in blue-black, no one else is, so I can just take this and wheel the Urtai. It's pick 4, so it's very possible. I do think Urtai's like super good. Helped me qualify for day 2 yesterday. But I could take this and just play the Isolated Chapel and not play these white splash lands. And then that lets us get the splash off Tameshi. And it helps us with like Valorous Stance. I might even, like I could just play Valorous Stance too. If I want to. I have enough sources at this point. I'd go for the Throat. Good cheap interaction spell. Pretty happy with that. I'm not really into Solemn Simulacrum right here. Or Portal to Phyrexia. I think go for the Throat's just going to do a lot more for us. I wouldn't hate getting one more 4-drop. Oracle of the Alpha can be a solid card. How many spells do I have for Tolarian Terror? Only 7. Yeah, that's not great. Or I could take Mind Flare. I think Oracle for the Alpha is going to be the best choice here. Counterspell? Nice pickup. Yeah, no one's really in blue. Question, do we want to play Valorous Stance main? The only thing I really would want to protect with it is like Shieldred. Maybe the Scholar. Sphinx's Revelation. Well, that's a reason to play the white lands, isn't it? That just closes the game on the white splash. Alright, well. We figured it out. Okay, so Opt versus Aether Channeler. I already have some ways to bounce and all that. I think Opt is just going to be better. I have a decent number of counterspells, so having an instant in my deck is solid. Note that I'm much happier to play Ashnod now that I have Sphinx's Rev in the deck. White land wield. Oh, Leyline Binding is really good too, but I think, well, I already have enough for Sphinx's Rev. Do I just want to put a Leyline Binding in my deck? No, it's only 4 sources. I'd rather make my mana better. Deal away for the sideboard. Actually, this has flash. Oh yeah, there it is. Wield. That's how we drew it up. Okay, this probably is not making the deck. Actually is a really good sideboard card. I could also play that main deck if I really want. How many white sources do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already. I guess I don't really want a 2-drop with 5 white sources, but it is decent. Okay, how many removal spells do I have? 1. I basically have like 2 catch-all removal spells here. So the Valor Stance probably does add quite a bit to my deck. Both of these 3-drops are kind of bad. Although I will say Tameshi plus Black Lotus. That is aspirational dreams right there. This is probably just more of a sideboard card. I'm not going to have that many things that die, so a 5-2 that comes to play tap. Doesn't block. Not really what I'm looking for. Can also be a 2. We're pretty good on our 2-drops, which is nice. So what does this copy? It actually doesn't copy very much. It's a flyer. It's really good with Noxious Gearhulk, but otherwise it's kind of bad. Because a lot of my instants and sorceries are counter spells. Or Alrund's Epiphany, which already gets exiled. Or Sphinx's Revelation for 0. So do I want a 7 mana 5/5 flyer in my deck that doesn't always win the game? Maybe not. And this can already return things too. And I have Scarab God to return things. Yeah, I think cutting the Scholar is good. This card's just a little bit weak. I mean, I do like Oracle more in a deck with Sphinx's Rev. Because if I draw a couple Moxen late, it's reasonable, and then this draws me into everything else. I could also put Life of Toshiro Umezawa in the sideboard. If they don't have X1s, it is kind of bad. And since it's best of 3, I could afford to do that, because I have a lot of other things I'm doing on 2. Oh, this is another removal spell that catches all from earlier. Looking at that. I guess same thing for Valorous Stance. I cut that. I can play Sphinx's Rev and not have to play Painlands, which would, I think, be a big help. I would still have, what is that, 3 sources? Maybe I need to play a Painland. Which one would be better to play? Probably comes down to which I have more double colors of. So I have 3 double black. Then I have 1, well, that's sort of double, but not necessarily. I have a little more double blue, so I probably want to play the... Now I get to add 3 lands here. Okay, so we have 4 white sources for our Sphinx's Revelation. This one's going to be an island. Times. I guess I don't have, do I have the white, I don't have the white-black pathway. Actually, if this is going to be an island, I'm playing an extra blue source that way. So I could actually play Addarkar Waste for that reason. Like if I draw both of those, I can make this, I can make this an island, and then I don't have to pay life this way if I draw those 2 cards. Versus drawing, if I draw, I don't know if that logic makes sense. Basically, I guess if I draw multiple of my white sources, then I turn one of them into the corresponding other color, I'm less likely to pain. Whereas if I draw, actually it does make sense. If I draw Hengegate Pathway plus Caves of Koilos, I still have to pain for one of my colors, which is black here, because I drew 2 of my white sources. So I don't need this to be white, so this is my white source, but then I have to paint on black. Versus if I play Addarkar Waste with Hengegate Pathway, if I then have blue, and then the Addarkar Waste can tap for colorless, because I already have the blue there. I think that might be the deciding factor. Alright. So kind of split down the middle, a little bit more blue than black. I'm gonna want an extra, like, 1 or 2 sources of blue. I don't have double black until turn 4 as well. So right now we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blue sources. That's pretty good. If I add 1 more, it's 11. And we'll have to pain less often. Then we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 black sources, 11, 9. I think that makes sense, because it's going to let me have counterspell on like turn 3 a lot of the time, which is good. Having 11 sources. And then the 9, I don't need double black until up here. So we should be okay in that spot. As long as I have 9 sources for these. And then the opt and impulse could be black sources as well, if I need them. Yeah, I think that's solid. I think I like the look of this, and we can go to battle. I think 6 lands is just a little bit too weak. I'm going to mulligan. I mean, we have our colors, but this hand doesn't do anything until turn 4. Yeah, this hand's a lot better. I'm going to get rid of probably Cruelty of Gix, because Dismiss can get me into more things anyways. I just need to hit 4 mana, and then I'm pretty good from there. Although Cruelty of Gix with Shieldred is a good combo. If they kill this, then I can get it back. Maybe I should just get rid of Dismiss, actually. I'm going to be tapping out every single turn. If I don't hit my 5th land on time, though, holding up Dismiss is going to be better. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to put that on the bottom. Kind of a tricky setup there. If I draw just land, it would have been better to hold the Cruelty, but kind of hard to know. I guess in that spot, if I'm drawing a ton of lands anyways, then things are going well. So. Okay, so them playing Agadim tells me that they didn't want to hold it as a land, so they're trying to... So braids. I should just counter that to use my mana. Elspeth's Nightmare doesn't answer it. Alright, so we're gonna get to curve into Shielded, that's good. It's pretty bad if our opponent slams a Planeswalker here. But they did just play Murderous Rider, so if I can... Okay, yeah, so this is great. So we can basically trade 2 for 2 at this point, which I think is worth doing. If I just hold up Dismiss, then... I mean, I could kill their Blood Artist. There's no real reason to kill it right now. The reason to hold the Mox Pearl is for Ledger Shredder specifically. Maybe I should just wait a turn. I can always just play it later. Yeah, I just counter that. Okay, well, they'd had enough. Great. Going into game 2, green, black stuff. I don't think this is that great, though. It does kill their Blood Artist. And this card's really good against them. If it's super grindy, the Scholar gets a bit better. I don't know how grindy it actually is. I mean, they're playing green-black. They seem more on the black side than green side, which means it is a little bit more grindy, but boarding the 7-drop on the draw is a little bit risky. I guess if they're playing green, they might have some Mana Elves, though, and they already showed me a target for life. So maybe I should board this in. And I could just cut the Oracle. The 2-3 doesn't actually do that much against green-black, from what I can see. Now, again, I don't want to overboard, because we already have a pretty good setup here. But I think I'm fine just making the one change. I could also board in the Missionary, if we're sort of making haymakers back and forth. But I don't even have that many creatures to bring back, so it doesn't actually do that much. I think I'm going to leave that out. Probably going to turn to the Underdog. Oh, well, we're just going to Thoughtseize them, and then that'll tell us what we need to do. Probably take Isika's Chariot here. Card's way too good. And I don't have to give them a target for the Sage. If I play the Tenacious Underdog, they'll probably just kill it. I think they probably would, so I'm just gonna foretell. I don't even have double blue yet. Alright, now if I Underdog, I can always bounce back what they play later. Force them to use the removal, and then our next thing we do. Alright, now we're in the driver's seat. They don't want to kill it for some reason. Braids? That's fine, I can go for the throat that. Or I could even Brazen Borrower it. That's probably even better. Oh good. Island is the best possible draw, because we have Brazen Borrower plus slot coming. I am going to let that happen, though. Because now, we can just use that to keep drawing spells. I can go for the Braids this turn, and then land the Brazen Borrower. I don't want to give them the option to sack lands here. Our lands are better than their lands. I think I'm just going to counter that. I have the Urtai, so I want them drawing too. If we do this, I can kill whatever they play. Unless it's something really good. But it's probably better to just hold up Urtai as a counterspell and then Brazen Borrow them. It gets a little greedy to underdog at this point. I care about a 2-4. It gains them 2. Not really. I mean, it is annoying. Not that annoying. So if I play the Gear Hulk, they get to kill it. But that does use up their turn, and then they just have a 2-1. I could also foretell the Epiphany, and then hold up Urtai's Resurrected, and then... Actually, that's going to be even better. Let's do that. Hold up Urtai Resurrected, and then we can do some power stuff later on. I'm going to let them attack me here. That way, I get to kill their Gix. Which sets up the double turn spell here. Like, it makes them use their Reclamation Sage for no value, potentially, if they want to block. And then that frees up our Noxious Gear Hulk later on. So basically, we put them in an awkward spot by making that play. Alright, might as well attack here, because we have the Epiphany. It'll set up the underdog next turn, essentially. I think that makes the most sense. Well, actually, if I draw a cheap removal spell, it's better to not attack this turn, because they're definitely going to trade. It's better to just play this, attack in the air, and then next turn decide. Okay, so now I can actually just attack off. That way I deal an extra 3 damage. Kinda weird. They don't have some way to kill me. Oh, I drew counterspell. Also, that was it. Cool. On the play, we get to mulligan, unfortunately. To keep. This is kind of an awkward one to figure out what to bottom. I could get rid of the... Like, if they're aggro, then holding... Like, I kind of need the Sphinx's Rev to be able to win the game eventually. I kind of just want to get rid of the Blood Chief's Thirst, but it's really bad if they're... if this is an important piece. But I have the Thoughtseize on turn 1. So I think I need to do that, then opt to find a play that helps me, and then eventually find my white source and draw out of this. Otherwise, I think I'm probably just way too far behind. Okay, they kept a risky hand. I can take their Kolagon's command, so we don't have to discard. But I think taking the Sorin is the best play here. Although the Bone Crusher Giant's also a problem. The Bone Crusher Giant they can get back, though. I guess they can also get back the Sorin. The Soul Transfer is kind of messing. I could just take the Soul Transfer. Basically, you get to play that before either one. Yeah, let's just do that and hopefully strand some cards in their hand. Pretty good. I guess we'll hold on to that, and then we can just wait to play it. Well, actually, I put them behind the curve if I just play this now. It's going to slow them down, which I think is actually kind of important. I think I'm just going to underdog to draw here. And then next turn, we'll see. I didn't draw a land, so that's good. Ooh, we can just slam a Scarab God here. I think we underdog to draw here. And they can't exile it, so I think I took the right card earlier. The Soul Transfer could have just exiled Scarab God. So that's great. Kolagon's command pretty good against Noxious Gearhulk because it is an artifact. This is why I'm such a fan of Scarab God. It's really hard to interact with. I think I'm just gonna kill their Gix and attack. They get to command my Gearhulk, but then I could just bring it back if I set an upkeep stop. So this trigger needs to go on the stack. I think I might have to hold full control. I don't know. Scarab God's kind of weird how it plays. If I want to upkeep back the Gearhulk and then be able to scry, I'm gonna hold full control. I've had this mess up before where I wasn't able to do what I wanted. Alright, so now we just block. Wait, Scarab God, too good. Alright, so red-black Planeswalker, like red-black midrange. Basically, they're playing that exact, what is it, Explorer, Historic deck, something like that. I always get those ones confused. What's what? They have Gix, they have Bone Crusher Giant. They have a lot of big things. I don't know how good the Elspeth's Nightmare is. It kills Siege Gang and it eats their Planeswalkers though, so I think it's decent. They might have things we haven't seen. Not sure about this Tameshi. Both of the 3-drops seem kind of bad. I kind of like the Scholar against them if it were super grindy. I think we kind of are. I do have some removal spells that it can combo with. I kind of like Phyrexian Missionary just to get on board. They have a lot of deal 2s in their deck. Maybe the Tameshis and the Oracles are good. Like 2-3 is just a good stat line. Honestly, the Underdog's kind of bad. Too easy to kill. I could just board in the Missionary and a Caves and cut a Swamp. I still have 6 sources. I think I like that. Because at least my other small creatures already provide value. I think Tenacious Underdog, blitzing for 4. Like, it was good that game just to draw a card. This hand's fine. Not good, but fine. Probably worse now. I think we're going to want to cycle that land and find a different white source. I'm going to play Island first because of Counterspell. They are grindy. Gildred's nice. Land is bad. I think Thoughtseize is actually pretty good. Lets us double spell later. Maybe it's not good, though. I'm going to play Shieldred next turn into Alrund the following turn. So by then, how good is Thoughtseize? Not actually that good, right? So maybe I just, well, maybe I just want to play my Rafine's Tower this turn. Because they have the Blood Fountain, so it's not like Thoughtseize even does that much. I'm going to bottom both. Well, I'm gonna cycle Rafine's Tower. Now I remember what I was gonna do. And it kind of looks like I have a counterspell, so that's good. We drew our Isolated Chapel. That's excellent. So let's just play Shieldred. Hope it lives. Rude. What do we want to name with this creature? I think creature. Oh, yes. Basically, that was the one I was looking for, was the Gear Hulk. Next, we can instant after that. Oh, that's a good combo with Mayhem Double. Wow. So we need to kill their Mayhem Double. Alright. Pass. Instant. I'm gonna miss. Wow, that's kind of sick. Well, we can kill their Ophiomancer. well, we are almost dead here. For 5. So they're 1 away from killing us right now. I think we bounced their snake here. But I should set an instep hold first. And get an instant. Or name instant. See if we... Nope. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna kill their snake. It's gonna buy us time. I mean, I'm pretty happy to block and trade. Human cleric. So I should opt first because I'm gonna have to show 2 things. Direction missionary. Guess I'm just gonna have to discard that, but that's fine. Well, if I find something even better... I think it's better to just... go these. Because I think Urtai is a lot better than Dismiss. Freebringer is a good one. If I attack both, they have to block. And then they munitions us down to 4. It's better to just Gear Hulk here. Still gonna try to find instants. We have counterspells in our deck. Kinda brutal. So they have to kill the Gear Hulk, or be able to block it. If I just counter their Gaunty here, then do I have lethal? I think I do. Otherwise they can find a... Look at and cast that card. But you know what? I can let them Gaunty me because it can't play lands. Basically I just had to make sure they didn't hit a land. So if I Urtai the Gaunty there on the stack and they draw a land, that hurts my chances much more. If I just let it resolve, then I kill it, play a Brazen Borrower, and attack all, there's no way they can actually stop that. Alright, pretty solid hand here. The Menace. Yeah, we can turn 2 Impulse / hold up Counterspell. Basically, we have a bunch of counterspells, but they're going to get to go under us. We're going to have to find a way to catch up. Oh no, turn 2 play is really good for us. I'm going to let that resolve so that I can counter it on the way back down. It uses up their whole turn. Basically, they get to deal us 2 damage. But we don't tap out there to counter the Bone Crusher. Because if I tap out on turn 2, they could play another 3-drop. this now. Alright, so go ahead and play a Drowned Catacomb here. Keep on countering things. Or if they don't play anything super important, I can opt plus impulse. I probably opt first and then impulse for what I need. Direction Dragon Engine. We could actually exile that. So, or find a way to answer it. I think I'm gonna let that resolve. Six more lands? Yeah, we can kill that a bit later too. I'm gonna let that resolve too. Urtai is great. And then, let's see. I don't really know. None of those are actually that good. I guess I take the underdog. It's a blocker. I'll just kill the Dragon Engine when they attack and try to block the Outcast. Glorybringer. So attack and play 2 creatures here. The reason I attacked is I think we're going to have to turn the corner quickly against these aggro decks. And so I'm not going to block this turn with Urtai. I'd rather attack. Get the 3 in, because I'm going to Gear Hulk next turn, their best play. And then I'm going to try to just attack and win with a counterspell before they can go over the top of us. I'm going to block here. I think I'm going to take the Fireblade Charger damage. Because otherwise it just trades with my 3-2. If I take 1, then I can Gear Hulk their next play. Also, if they play a Planeswalker, it's much better to have board presence. But if they just play like 2 creatures here, I'd rather kill one of them and keep attacking. Right. Well, kind of unfortunate. So we can Sphinx's Revelation or hold up Counterspell here. I guess I'd rather get an island still. I'm not going to have more than 1 double black spell in a turn, but I might have double blue. Actually, no, I already have quad blue, so yeah, I want to play this one. Alright, so we can Ledger Shredder into Mox Ruby. And I guess discard a Swamp. And on their turn, I'm going to hold the land because I have Thought Coming and Go for the Throat. And I can still Noxious Gear Hulk plus go for the throat next turn by holding the land. I think I'm just going to pass. I really want to be able to kill a dragon with the Gear Hulk to gain more life. Also, it's the biggest threat. I'm just going to kill it. And I'm going to counter that too, because then I get to... I'm going to tap out this next turn. So I'm going to loot here. The Ledger Shredder. Oh, Time Walk is a good one. That's a good one. Alright. Killer 4/4, and then I can Lotus. Well, I could also just Time Walk first. I want to play both of these, so basically whatever else I draw. And then I can attack. So I guess I should just... Yeah, Gear Hulk. If I hit a land, I can wait. Yeah, I think I just discard Scarab God here then. Well, maybe not. Well, I'm not going to discard Time Walk, so I have to discard one of them. So I guess, yeah, I'm discarding Scarab God. And then we're attacking for 2. And then we're going to Time Walk. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm gonna hold the Shredder back. Just attack with the 5, 4, and the 3, 2. It doesn't change the clock. I think I hold the land in case I draw an instant that I can cast with the off the underdog dying. And then I could connive potentially. I guess if they block like that, that'll give me more. Okay, so now I can just... I could swamp and go down to 9. That might be better. Because then I could connive away. Like I draw another card. How am I gonna die if I go to 9? I don't think there's like a steal effect in this cube. Yeah, I think it's worth doing. Alright, so we're pretty set up for next turn to win. If they Dragon Engine... I gotta think about blocking or not. This is what I was saying with Castle Vantress. You almost never use it. Basically using your mana every single turn in this cube. That is pretty good. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And do I have 5 black? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do. So I play Shieldred and then Tenacious. Oh, I don't have 10 mana though. This is Ward 1, right? 1, 2. Okay. So if I Shieldred first. And then I Underdog. It's gonna draw me 2 cards. Just attack for 3. Actually, maybe I should attack the Shredder too, because the Shielder's going to deal them 2. Well, they can't unearth the engine. Yeah, I should attack them both, because this just kills them. We'll go to 11. Gonna be hard to beat these cards, I think. Alright. I didn't really want to show them dismiss, so I was trying to win a different way. That's why I did what I did there. I did give a little information that I have Blood Chief's Thirst on my deck, but I think that's fine. Alright, Life of Toshiro Umezawa, definitely great. Gambling Gas, pretty good. Missionary, good. Honestly, Seal Away is pretty good. Could even add a Plains. Alright, what's bad? Thoughtseize is kind of bad versus them. Opt is kind of slow. Thought Coming is also kind of bad, but it lets us do something on turn 2, which I think is important. I guess I have a lot to do on turn 2, though. Brazen Borrower also, it doesn't do a whole lot. Like, it bounces things, but they're applying so much pressure that it doesn't really get us ahead. I think like a 2-3 might just be better. Gives us 6 white sources. I think that's pretty solid for the mission. So Cruelty Kicks is also pretty bad. Maybe Brazen Borrower is better than that. Basically, lower my curve, try to interact, and then have a few threats that go over the top. We have the wrong land for Missionary, but the rest of my hand's pretty good. Underdog, kind of an awkward draw, because if we answer with Blood Chief's Thirst, we can't even answer it. I think we're supposed to just kill the Eidolon here. Unfortunately, it causes us to take damage. Yeah, not too happy about doing this. I could just play the Underdog instead. Maybe a better use of our mana. We could just block. If they kill that one, it's kind of a problem. Gonna block. I'm glad we got to trade there. Good they didn't have removal. If they had removal there, I was in pretty big trouble. So we can Blood Chief's Thirst the Eidolon. Drawing Lotus here was completely unreasonable, I think. And now we can Brazen Borrower the token. And then we can Lotus and bring back the Oracle. Yeah, that was pretty good. Because if they have Glorybringer here, it's kind of bad for me. Wow, I'm just drawing all the power. If I attack with a missionary, they probably double block. In which case, I get to go for the throat. I mean, they might not double block. But if they do, it's very good for me. Like, the missionary just having lifelink is kind of a blowout. Oh yeah. They're gonna be upset about this time walk, I think. That was a pretty lucky draw. Wow, I can even just kill the Thopter and attack now. That's pretty good. But it's no Glorybringer. If I attack with the underdog, does it do anything for me? Not really. I think we just Oracle here. And then I can all in for artifacts. Because we have all these Moxen in our deck. Well, I guess you could also just all in for land. But if I put 5, I mean, it's almost as many lands as we have Moxen. And it can help find Lotus. Legion Warboss, when I have Missionary, helps us quite a bit too. And they kind of have to Dragon Engine this turn, or else it's going to get exiled. So, I mean, if they draw like exactly Glorybringer, maybe they do that instead. The benefit of naming artifact is I can also find... Oh, that sucks. Alright, attack with the underdog. And we're just gonna all-rend. And I think name artifact. I have 13 lands left in my deck, and I have 10 Moxen in my deck. Plus the Gear Hulk. The Gear Hulk is so good. I think it's a little better to name artifact here. Excellent. I don't want to block with the all-run in case they do like a deal too. I want to block with the missionary. And attacking with the all-run doesn't really do a whole lot for us. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to underdog. play my hand out so I can Brazen Borrower. I'm still gonna keep naming... Oh, am I gonna name... I could name Sorcery because I have 2 Time Twisters in my deck. I don't really need more mana, so naming Artifact doesn't help me that much. I have 1 more Time Walk, 2 Time Twisters. Or I could just name Instant. Or, honestly, right now I just need creatures, right? Creature could find Scarab God. And it can find... it can find my top end, which is what I really need. I mean, though I am kind of losing at this point, so maybe I should just try to find Time Twister. I mean, I'm not exactly losing, but kind of. It's a really close game. I don't even have that much more mana than them, though, so is Time Twister even good? Maybe not. Yeah, maybe I'm just gonna name creature. What I need the most. Sidewalk. And Twister gets rid of the underdog, unless I return it first. However, they do need to exert the Glorybringer, and then I can beat down with the Borrower. Though it does let them attack with the Missionary. I think we just block the War Boss because we're going to want to... We can just use the Missionary to attack. Interesting. Sphinx's Revelation. I think we should just attack, and if they don't chump... Well, I think regardless, I'll just Sphinx's Rev main phase. Or, like, right away. It draws us 4 cards. So that's lethal. Whew, close one. Well, we drew some power. That was pretty sweet. Alright, solid hand. Let's play turn 1 Chapel. I'm not too worried about that one. I need the double blue, so I'm just going to play the tower. Plus we have Rev. I'm just going to hold back here. It might influence their plays to try to get rid of the Shredder and attack here. There's no real reason to go for the throat yet. Plus, if I hold it, then wow, that's good. Alright, I'm just gonna attack now. Well, no, if they kill Shielder, they deal me a ton of damage. I guess I'm still just gonna play this and pass. But if I untap, we basically, with Counterspell, go for the throat, like, that's so absurd. They have an answer? They have Lightning Axe? Wow. Pretty good to have the actual answer. I feel like we could just block, unless they have 2 spells. Yeah, it's pretty greedy to block. Blue, blue, white. I already have double, triple black, so I can play the waste. This is holding back multiple creatures, so I'm just gonna wait. I just need to kill it. I think I'm gonna rev for 3. I have bounce spells in my deck. Or like things go really poorly. Yeah, I have ways to interact here, so that's the good news. This doesn't do a whole lot, but I mean, I could Concealing Curtains. That's probably better. No, because they have Fable this turn, right? Better to Curtains next turn, I feel like. Well, I don't know. I have Counterspell. I kind of want to get aggressive here. Oh, their hand's really good. If they copy, I'm just going to counter that. I think Sublime Epiphany is just the card that does the most. Their deck's pretty sweet. See. Before Flyer, I kind of just have to counter that. Big problem. If I attack here, then I play Tameshi, then they Voracious Great Shark, then I dismiss. Then next turn I Urtai the token. I think that's a good line. Alright. Yeah, I'm just gonna counter the Brazen Borrower. Kind of just want to attack with the Tameshi too. Feel like they're not really gonna block here. I pass, they're gonna... Oh, they can't even deluge. So I just need to kill the Kiki Jiki now. It lets them untap, but... That's alright. They do get to basically have inevitability here, which is a problem, but I do have an impulse, which can help me find a really good card next turn. Like, right now I'm the beatdown. This is a good play, because now they can Mythos with green. Oh, but they're gonna deluge? Okay, that seems really aggressive. If they had Mythos to Ballooned with red-green, they could have copied and fought. I can play around the mana leaks. Well, I can't really. They're playing a land. Honestly, I could bounce the token right now. And then they have to deal with everything while they're tapped out. But I kind of want to let them copy something, and then I can just bounce it. But it's pretty weak to a counterspell. I'm just going to bounce this right now. I think I'm going to still pass, though, because I don't want them to... Ow. I didn't know they were playing actual green sources. I got tricked. That's brutal. I'm playing around sorcery speed removal while playing my flyer later, but... That's a good draw. Let's just attack with everything. Do this first. Transform. I think it's okay if they discover the formula. I don't really want them to copy my Allround. If they discover the formula, they're only gonna have 3 mana after that. I'm trying to get creatures here. My best cards are... Well, actually, maybe they're not creatures at this point. Drawing them in a lightning bolt was kind of really brutal for me. Hopefully I just drew all 5 drops. Kind of study their deck right now before we go into the next game. Like a blue-red tempo style. That was a good draw. They chump, and then we take an extra turn. Whew, close one. So a lot of haymakers back and forth. We're more on the controlling side. Life of Toshiro Umezawa definitely great versus them. I'm actually kind of bad versus them, honestly. Though I am bringing in another... I have I have 4 things that it combos with. And the 2/3 body's pretty good against 2/2s. This is pretty good against Fable the Mirror Breaker. I wonder if it's good against anything else. Also just a flying flash creature. How good is Oracle the Alpha? Pretty good. And I guess they have their own... like, I would be using this as a cycling trigger mostly. They have their own Brazen Borrowers, things like that. I don't know, maybe this is too fancy. Kind of dies to a lot of their cards. It's not that good. And maybe this is too cute. Just board in the Life of Toshiro Umezawa and call it a day. I don't want to overdo it. Scholar of the Lost Trove might be a card I want to bring on play if we get there. Though it's a 7-mana creature versus Voracious Great Shark is not exactly fantastic. Voltavic's really good against them. This, I don't even have double black in this hand. I think it's a mulligan. And it's pretty awkward. I am gonna saw it coming on turn 2 though, so I think I should just Thoughtseize now. Because they can have pretty aggressive starts. Treasure map versus... If they map, that's going to get them way ahead later on. I think if I can stop the Fable from coming, we'll be fine. If they draw a land here, though, I am in trouble. Maybe it was greedy to take the treasure map. Well, at least that was good. They can still hottie gen, but... If they had missed one turn and I was able to stop the Fable from coming down, then we could have really gotten them. And I think it was kind of worth taking the risk because we had already mulliganed. Those stranding cards in their hand, I think, would have been very beneficial. The treasure map was going to be a problem. Because eventually it's going to give them an over... Like, as bad as this is, I think the treasure map still would have been bad. So I'm still happy with my choice, actually. Because the treasure cove with all the treasures was going to be +3 cards. And I think it's just going to be really difficult to deal with. Yeah, I mean, they're just kind of running us over this game. Not much we can do about it. Kind of mulliganed and having... It's just awkward. Hopefully I can dismiss something here. But they're already ahead on board, so there's not really a reason for them to do a whole lot. At least that happened. Okay. I don't even know what I want to use this one on. I guess I want plain. The dream would be the Mythos of Luna, their hottie gen right now. I do have to find another answer to the Kiki Jiki, but I just can't take 6 here. pretty good. I think we just have to Shieldred here. The problem is that they can kill the Shieldred, but I don't think Tenacious Underdogging going down to... I'm just gonna play this. They can kill it. So it's like, not great. Yeah, they figured it out. Quite the removal spell. Game 3, what am I trying to do? They kind of can go underneath me, so I just need to stop them from what they're doing. I mean, also Favor of the Mirror Breaker is just kind of messed up. So. Very hard card to beat. I mean, this one can kind of stop Fable the Mirror Breaker, is kind of what I was thinking. And pressure them in other ways. But they do have, like, Pillar of Flame, Lightning Bolt. Brazen Borrower just trades with it, so the flying side of it doesn't do a whole lot. I wonder if I should just be playing Spectral Sailor as a way to draw cards. And hold up mana. It's actually not bad. And just maybe board out. Meshi's pretty bad, except for being a 2-3, but... And the rest of our cards are so good. Yeah, I think it's just a little too cute. I think the Spectral Sailor is going to do more for us overall. Kind of a tough matchup. Because they have the tempo pieces to stop us, so... Their blue kind of goes under our blue. We keep mulliganing, which is kind of terrible. Okay, I'm going to get rid of... Adarkar Waste. Maybe I should have held the Rafine's Tower to cycle. So hopefully we can draw Elspeth's nonsense here. Unfortunately, we don't have a ton of action. Yeah, maybe keeping the Adarkar Waste would have been better. Cycle. I think I'm gonna slam Scarab God. They had negate, but they can't play the Great Shark this turn, which is pretty huge. They didn't have that all match yet. That stinks. Didn't know they had that card. Okay, we're gonna ride the Castle Vantress then. They have way too many cards in here. Lightning bolt time. Axe discarding island, not paying. It's kind of wild. So they have a bunch of other things to do with their mana. Maybe Memory Deluge right now. Pretty good too. What do we do? The Scarab God's already gone, so the creatures aren't that good here. Brazen Borrow is a creature though, and so is Noxious Gearhulk. Counterspell. Playing the land makes me vulnerable to Pillar of Flame. But they do have Lightning Bolt. Also, if I get an instant and I do Saw It Coming, that's pretty good. And Dismiss. I am losing the Haughty as is though. Now I need to do this, and then if I want to try to find like Go for the Throat or Sphinx's Red, these types of things. Yeah, I need instants. Should have chosen creatures. I mean, we had to try. I took the line that gave us the best shot of winning this, but just we drew really, really well the other matches, and not this match. That's how it goes. Just 20 though. That's crazy. Alright. They kinda had it all. I guess good job on the 4-0. I was hoping we would get the 4-0 into the second round, but at least we got the 3-1. So we get to do draft 2. Unfortunately it is now single elimination. But that's still 3-1's still pretty respectable.